Just a second.
Good evening, ma'am.
Evening,
Good evening,
everyone.
ma'am.
We have with us today a very dynamic lady, Shipra Bhutani. Shipra ma'am is like very close friend, and I mean such a wonderful lady that I can go on and go on and giving her introduction about it. If you look at her background, you can see that the number of awards that she has won at national and international level. She has been chosen as She Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes has nominated her as one of the women who's been doing a great job. She's one name who's working absolutely phenomenal in the world of skill and getting it into the world of online skilling. Um, she's running two companies right now. Jagan Raj Institute and also Capacita Connect, where she's a founder and director. She's an alumnus from IIM Calcutta, and she's been working with various bodies across the country, right from National Skill Development Corporation, all entrepreneurship bodies, right from TIE to FICCI to any women entrepreneurship chapters. She's been part of it. I think she's created and generated employment opportunity for some I would say some 1 lakh plus students across the country. And that's what is something which she's been doing so passionately. I mean, each time you speak to her, you feel so motivated and you feel like, what are you doing? People are doing so much, you are not doing even a bit of it. And I don't know from where on the earth she finds so much time to do the things what she has been doing. So I would not like to hijack and talk about her introduction, what she has been doing. Would like to hear it from her, how she has built up her own journey so beautifully over a period of time and creating an impression for thousands of women like me all around us. So thank you so much, Shipra ma'am, for sparing all your time. I mean, would love to hear you and your story all around. Over to you.
Hi, hello everyone. How are you? So, thank you so much, so much. I really like the kind of energy and positivity Shinu you have because I have been knowing you for almost 12 years now, and every time you are so full of energy, positivity, you give me so much of motivation. And I think this is what the life is all about.
Not
Giving
even 1% of yours, okay?
no, it is nothing like that. So first of all, thanks a lot to IHMR. So I was just going through your website, and I must say the kind of courses, the kind of intellectual property you have created, it's amazing, amazing, and very much in line with what is needed in the society today, and what are the hot jobs in the job sectors. So let me start with my introduction. I am Chipra Sharma Bhutani. So I was born in Mumbai, and then I studied in hostel Birla Balika Vidyapeeth Pillani throughout my life, and then I went to IIM Calcutta, and I was an economics professor at BIT Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. So during while I was teaching engineering students economics and business management, I realized that there is a huge gap between what is needed in the industry and what is being taught in the universities and private colleges. So in 2008, I decided to start my own skill center. In those days, people are not aware of what is a skill center. So they usually would imagine that perhaps it's a coaching institute or maybe distant in education, MBA, BBA. So skilling is basically tells you how to do a thing, what to do, why to do, and when to do. All these things are covered under your regular education of what you are doing in universities and colleges and schools. So it is very, very important that you should know how beautifully a task can be done, and that is what defines the value, your value in the job market. For example, I'll give you a very interesting story. Once there was a plumber. He went to an office. He said, "I will charge 1,000 rupees to fix this tap." So the people were surprised that why are you charging 1,000 rupees just to fix a tap? So they said, I am charging one rupee on how where to fix the tap, but rest of the money I'm charging and how to fix it, because the kind of expertise I have in my job or in my skill, that is what defines my value. So this is how the journey started. So in 2008, I started with the basement of my house, and slowly and gradually we grew. And today we have, in my organization, we have some 100 skill centers across India. So most of them are my franchisees. Out of them, 10 are my self-owned. So what kind of courses we provide? So we are an NSDC, National Skills Development Corporation. It's a Government of India enterprise. We are NSDC funded training partner, and we provide employability linked trainings in the courses like web designing, ethical hacking, cloud computing, application development, whatever the young blood is needing these days, even mobile repair, tower technicians, healthcare, and all these kind of courses. And in 2016, I started a new company by the name Capacita Connect. It is a digital platform where we have 10 million or 1 crore skilled manpower registered with us. So industries, they come to our portal and they pay us a subscription, and they can shortlist the candidates as per their needs. Why it has become, it has created history. Capacita Connect has created history because just in 1 year, its value grew 4 times. So we gave the angel investors for their first exit in 4 years, and I have already raised 3 rounds of funding. So this is what we are doing. So one of my organization, Jagan Raj Professional Studies, is providing trainings to almost 15,000 people in a year through different franchisee centers. My other company, Capacita Connect, is providing jobs to 50,000 to 60,000 people in a year. So this is how I am balancing the skill ecosystem.
So I think I need to correct my numbers, right? It's like more than 10 lakh people you have trained by now.
No, almost. So it is very easy. The kind of presentation I was seeing earlier. So if you sublet your work, if you in the value chain, if you add more people, you can grow phenomenally, and you can grow exponentially. So this is what we have been doing. I provide training in Rajasthan jails also. So jail inmates, Reserve Bank of India, and war widows. These are some of my clients, and also manual scavengers, all the Safai Karamcharis. So these are bottom of the pyramid people whom we provide employability linked training and eventually help them get some placements. So skilling is the national priority now, and soon India will become the skill capital of the world, and we will be providing skilled manpower across the globe. So these are some of the things what we have been doing, and as some there I have been humbled and honored that I was invited by Indo-American Association in 2016 to represent India at San Francisco in Independence Day, and I was chosen by Mercedes and given the award, this title of She's Mercedes. And I am also one of the mentors by Facebook for She Leads Tech India, and I was featured in Forbes India in 2019 again for this Capacita Connect. So these are certain things, and trust me, whenever I'm having a bad day or a bad decision, especially during the COVID and all, it is these awards and appreciations that give you the fuel or the energy to bounce back during the bad days or having the load. So it really means a lot. So this is the small introduction about my work, and I have 2 kids and I love them. And managing the house and the kids, and this is my all about me.
Shipra ma'am, when you started, when you think about starting something, and when you are a graduate from institute like IIM Calcutta, you never think of doing a job. I mean, you work for some time, but you didn't thought of that, I should continue doing the job rather than, getting into a business. What excited you to get into the business and start something of your own? You were not scared of losing money?
No, so I am an accidental entrepreneur. So I built my own house in 2008. So at that time, I had a small kid of 4 years old. So I was not sure where I would leave him when I've gone for a job. So I thought, why not start with a small business, just invest a little money. So in 2008, I was just having 40 students, And in 12 years, I have some 15,000 students and some 100 centers. So the crux is start small. Do not invest too much of your energy or too much of your savings or money while you start your enterprise. You should grow slowly and gradually. First, establish your base and then go to the next step. Yes, it was a little scary because BIT is a very renowned name and it was a very nice job with a good salary and reputed job. But somehow the flexibility is not there when you are into job, and the chances of exponential growth are also not there. So as we can see, sometimes the startup are like 100x growth they are giving, which is not possible in a job. So it is risk and return reward kind of a thing.
What are the mistakes you think you have created in your initial days?
So, biggest mistake was I'm very bad at accounting, actually. So although I was economics professor, but I hated that, balance sheet kind of a checking thing. What are the profits, what are the expenses, and all those kind of a thing. So whenever there was a meeting, I would say, बाद में देख लेंगे, बाद में देख लेंगे. So once you cannot, I was a passionate, trainer. I would be doing everything. So biggest mistake was, don't try and do everything on your own. Hire a team. You should have a good accountant. You should have a set of trainers with you. I was kind of the person who would go for all the trainings. And the second thing is, keep invest in yourself. There was a time I was neglecting myself a lot. The only time I left was being spent in the house or with the kids. Eventually, it started taking toll on my health. Then I realized, no, there has to be work-life balance and give yourself a priority, because my decision is going to affect the lives of 15,000 people who are registered on my portal. So I have to focus on my thing also. So now I do the difficult thing first and the easier thing later on.
How did you got your first customer?
So it was a job fair, and a lot of people, this Rajasthan Patrika job fair and all that. So in the job fair, I came across a gentleman. He was from Reserve Bank of India. So we exchanged the cards, and he said, okay, you have a skill system, academy. So why don't you train our 300, employees of North India of Reserve Bank of India? Can you do it? So I was just, zapped, and I lost words and I lost confidence. I was like, oh my God, I have never trained, and this is giving training to Reserve Bank of India officers. Let's give it a try. It will be, so that was, and it was really, really very challenging, because most of them were of the age of 45, and that was promotional exam. I was preparing them for the promotional exam. So I hired trainers for almost 4x their cost, and best of the trainers. And then eventually they were so happy. And the best part was, I was providing a very delicious lunch and, tea, breakfast and everything, pampering all those people for a month. So they really liked the training. And then I was able to get 2-3 batches more. So the lesson was, never refuse a work because you think it is difficult or it is too high as per your standards. Eventually you will be able to do it.
That's interesting. I mean, this is always true, finding the first customer is always difficult, but you have been lucky getting it. Sometimes, like, some of the students or those who are aspiring, they'll say, we're not sure, how do we go out in the market? How do we reach out to the people? What do you suggest to them? What should they do?
Suppose I'll give you an example. Like, first you have to identify who is your customer. Like, for example, in Capacitor Connect, my customer is the people who are looking for employees or the job seekers. So what I would do, I would go to a job portal where all the companies have posted their requirements. So the first thing is, or I would go to different industry association where all the industry members are enrolled. Similarly, initial 1 or 2 years, you have to be very, very proactive. I have a very interesting line which I tell to my team: let the other person say no. For you, everybody is a customer. Suppose you are selling an organic food, so why do you think that okay, he's a rich person, he will not buy, he's a poor person, he will not buy? So why do you waste your energy and time deciding on behalf of the other person? You talk and meet as many people as possible, and tell about your product, because if you can't sell your product, then others will not also be able to do it.
Absolutely true. I think that's a wonderful advice. I mean, we always get so negative and carried away by one no, or we presume that people will say no to us and we don't think about going back to them.
No, you know what? There's one thing I have learned in 12 years of my entrepreneurial journey. When these days, when I fall, when I have a bad day, I rise up again. Earlier, one no would mean, sitting sad for next 2-3 days, or thinking what went wrong, why did you refuse me, why this project was not completed. Now you will, Shinu, you will be surprised to know how many failures I had seen, how many rejections I have seen. But I do not spend more than half an hour.
Talk about all those hard stories. You know what happened? Because we all think we see the glamour that you have today, but nobody tried to go and understand the deep pain that you had in the past to reach out to this level. You are successful today, but you were not successful on the day one. You had this journey of
so it is not every day. It is like all my message to all the listeners is life is a game of snake and ladder. If you play it like that only, even at 99 there might be a snake which will eat you up. And even at 10 there will be a ladder which will take you to 99. So anything and everything is possible in this life. Shinu, I'll give you one more example of hardship. So because this is like a railway track where you have to balance your personal and professional life. So what happened, I hired an IIT graduate person. I was paying a salary of almost 2 lakh rupees. And suddenly my brother, he had a brain stroke, and I asked him to take care of the company. And because I was taking care of him, he was at my house for 1 year. He was half body paralysis. The person who was from IIT and getting a salary of 2 lakh rupees, he hacked my website and he started doing all kind of bad things. So it was really shocking. So what I'm trying to say is you cannot leave the control of the company even in your personal crisis. You have to manage both the things. And this happened just 2 years ago. And in fact, 1 year ago. So never lose the control. How you will manage it, it is up to you. At that time, I realized that it is very, very important to have good employees. So a person might be less intelligent, less learned, or less educated, but he should be honest and sympathetic. It doesn't make sense to have an intelligent person but who is not honest and who would create harm to your organization. So having a good team is very, very important, and judging people is equally important. So you have to take care of these things.
But I mean, that's always difficult. Everybody talks about a startup or any new company should have a team. But the first biggest problem is, it's my idea. I get married to my idea, and I find it very difficult to detach myself from everything. I understand that everybody else is not doing good for my business. That's what I assume a lot of people talk about. I believe that I only know the things and I don't want to lose control, and I don't want people to, empower and do the things. That's one challenge that I see a lot of people talking about. And second is there any magic formula to understand that, okay, these are the right team members that I can have for my team? Or how do you judge?
Okay, I'm very much, I believe in vibes. If you understand, I believe a lot in body language, and I really study the resume very carefully. So there are certain tips I would like to give it to you. So when you are seeing a journey of a person for 10-15 years, and if you see lot of switches, every 1 year he's leaving a job, and then without any specific reason, then there is a question of loyalty of that person. So being ambitious and being greedy are two different things which you have to judge. Being ambitious is good, but if the person is greedy, he might leave you anytime. And the second thing is, initial 7 days, you watch that person very carefully, how he behaves with others, does he deliver on time, does he comes on time, and the most importantly, I think somebody who loves his work will always deliver. I have seen, a BCom graduate with 3rd division of outperforming top people because he loves his work. So that energy, that positivity, I give more value to human values than just to an education tag, you know. So this is how you do it. And when it comes to parting your shares from the organization, just imagine even Mukesh Ambani owns just 30 or 35% shares of Reliance. So this is what the life is all about. And I think Jeff Bezos and all, I think they have this 10 or 15% of the share. This is what I assume. So eventually when you grow, you part away with the shares or the ownership of the organization. And that is the only way you can grow.
Absolutely true. I think that makes a lot of sense when we're talking about. How do you think networking plays a role in your career?
So networking played a very, very important role. So I am here because of networking with you, Shinu. So networking is not something, is take it in their stride and make it as casual and as simple as possible. It should not be like, you are harboring somebody or distressing somebody in the way of networking. You should be available where you are meant to be, not like a social butterfly kind of a thing that you are in every domain. So since I am into skilling and digital recruitment platform, I am a member of most of the associations which are beneficial for my organization. So I give productive contribution, not just going there for dinner, lunches, and all that. Second important thing is whom with you are networking. So don't waste your time, people or organizations, those who have a questionable reputation or questionable this thing, because if you are seen with good people, it will enhance your image. Likewise, if you are seen with bad or controversial people or organization, it will damage your image. So you have to be very choosy and particular about networking. So you can wait, don't have, but yes, networking is very, very important, because 50% of my business comes through reference. And trust me, no amount of marketing can create the kind of loyalty and respect in the market the way references do. So it is very important that people should respect you in the society and the workplace.
True, I think word of mouth plays a very important role. One good thing and it gets spreads all across. That's
Yes.
very, very important. Do you spend money on marketing?
Yes, we do. Because the disadvantage and the advantage of networking is in Jaipur, each everybody. There's a limited scope of expanding your business through networking. Then you have to have take the help of social media or digital marketing or print media. Because in our business or any business, it is only 30 or 40% that is the conversion happening. So you have to double the kind of people, number of people whom we are targeting. So you have to expand your reach to the people. Yes, we do marketing.
True. Since now you are into digital skilling, and you have an app about hiring and these things. Would you see the next 3 years, 5 years scope for new businesses or new ventures coming into the area of digital skilling?
So what we are doing is, as you have seen, past 1 year, people have into e-learning or digital learning. So digital skilling will enhance. And like right now, what we are doing, we are even conducting video interviews. So in Capacita Connect, a person, the Swiggy's and Paytm, they pay 300 rupees and they buy a subscription of 30 minutes for a video interview. So during just like an Zoom call or this thing, they can conduct an interview on our platform, and that interview will be recorded. Second thing we are doing is creating video resumes. So instead of written resume, there will be a video resume that I am a plumber, I have 10 years of experience, I'm an industrial plumber. So you know what happens? People don't like reading. They can listen. They can listen even by doing 10 many things. And the second benefit of having a video resume is people can see the personality of the person. So half of the selections and rejections are happening on the video profiles. Digital is the way. Half of the things will be happening digitally, whether it is interview, whether it is learning, and whether feedbacks and everything. But however, there are certain job roles, especially in the skill sectors, especially in the technical sector, which will require human intervention or physical labs and all those things. So we will have to balance both the things, how we will be doing it.
Which are the skills that you think is getting more momentum for the next 3 to 5 years now?
So most importantly, if we go to a technical side, it is the future skills which we call. So people are looking for multitasking kind of a manpower. So it is ethical hacking, cloud computing, social media marketing, web designing, app development. So what they are doing. So this is one thing which now there is no extra job role as computer operator or telecaller. A person who is on the seat of an office need to do both these things. So these are the most upcoming thing. When it comes to industry, you are lucky that healthcare will be for next 2 years. You know, this pandemic has taught lot many things, and suddenly I have seen a rise of 30 to 40% enrollments in healthcare sector, because we provide trainings to nurses also. So elderly healthcare and all that. So healthcare is the topmost. The second one is the logistics, because as more and more delivery will be done. So when it comes to logistics, it is not just the delivery boy. We have a courier delivery tracker, we have the assignment tracker, we have the warehouse operator. So there are lot many job roles in logistics. And the third one is retail, e-commerce, what you call it. So these are the most upcoming things. And anything and everything will be linked to digital. So having a computer knowledge, having a digital experience is very, very important.
So what is one tip that you would like to give to these aspiring young women, who are thinking to start their small ventures, be it from their own, it's a small cafe to, making some handmade paper business, or somebody wants to run a consulting firm, any small thing which they want to start, but they are starting early.
Okay, hi ladies, I would request all of you to watch Sholay again and watch Gabbar Singh again, where he's saying that jo dar gaya wo mar gaya. So technically what I'm trying to say is, I started my business when my child was just 4 years old. And after that, in 2011, I had another baby after starting just after 2 years of starting my business. So don't be afraid of anything. You can manage both the house, kid, and your businesses. Number one. And there is no good time. You will see, beta ya beti 5th mein aa jayega, tab main start karungi. No, there is no good time. This is now and here. Because by the time you start, your idea might be hijacked and the dynamics of the market will change. Start small, start slow, and then you can roll out. The second thing is, I really don't find the reason why women are into some niche areas of, when it comes to entrepreneurship. You can do anything. Sitting at home, you can start your own platform for web designing, cloud computing, ethical hacking. These are some things which you can start doing sitting at your home. So contact more and more people. You can take a franchisee of a bigger, maybe Salesforce or anything, IBM or some company like this, and you can work from home like a freelancer, and this will give you a lot of experience as how to do a business. So if you have a zeal, start it now. The third thing is, don't waste your money or the savings. You should take a loan so that you have a pressure to repay it, and never burn your savings. And always have a tight control on the finances, because they are going to be bad during the initial 2-3 years. And yes, kids will not run away. Kids are very intelligent these days. They will manage without their mommies. And ask your partners and take as much help from your family. There's no harm into it, because eventually you are the one who's bringing the money on the table, so they will not mind helping you out. Shinu, I think all the hurdles with a woman are in their mind. Trust me.
True,
So
very true. I guess it's all in mindset, and we don't want to break it. That's the problem. That starting point is always a problem.
No, and you know what my heart aches to know it is more in Rajasthan. When I go to South, I mean, within 6 months of delivery and they are on the road. I mean, there's a more of professionalism, South, Maharashtra and all.
Actually.
So people don't ask, the people don't question. Here the women are more hesitant, which is bad. It is your life, and believe me, you have only one life. So live it the way you want.
True. So, but that's very right. Don't take money from friends, family, and father-in-law. These three F's will not work. What she said is very right. Actually take a loan. We are scared of taking loans, but now we have seen there are so many loan opportunities are available. Take the loan, you have a pressure to repay that loan. And not everybody has guts to do that. But then, once you have that in mind, I'm sure you'll be able to achieve it because you have a goal in mind that you have to repay that loan and make more money. There's one more question that I have in mind. A lot of people talk about my idea will be copied. You know, what if I started and 3 months down the line, because I don't have anything which is new to the world idea. I'm something which people are doing, but I'm also doing it with little bit of creativity, little bit of innovation all around. So how do I manage it when people will copy my idea, because I don't have even that deep pockets to nurture it. I'm small, but I'm always scared of my idea getting copied.
So surprisingly, idea plays just the 30% of the role. 70% is the execution, how you do it. So because suppose you hire the first employee, you will be sharing your idea with him. Tomorrow, he or she might start its own company. You are sharing your idea with your friend, he or she might start the company. So idea is nothing. Before Ola and Uber were there in the market, we were having so many taxis earlier. It was the kind of execution they have that it was successful. Similarly, we had Flipkart, Myntra, and all those e-commerce platforms we have. So it is the execution. Why Amazon is so successful? Because of the execution. There is nothing new into it. And similarly, we have drinking water. See, life of people across the globe is same. Ideas will be same. You are not somebody who is going to invent something how to live at Mars. You will be solving everyday problem. And this one thing I want to tell you is, don't be into very innovative idea. Your idea should be something which is solving everyday problem, not something which is for the classes and very exclusive and something. What Ola and Uber are doing, it is not something very innovative, but look at the execution. That's why they are successful. What Zomato and Swiggy are doing. Earlier, Domino's was delivering pizza, but they were delivering only pizzas. Swiggy just tweaked it, and this the kind of execution they created. So there is nothing like the idea being copied. Yes, if you have a good company, you might get acquired by a bigger company, and that will be helpful for you. So this will help. This will solve the problem of funding and all that. You will get a lot of money for your company. And MSME and women and child welfare, these things in ministries, they are offering a lot of grants and lot of financial support to women startups. So if there are women audiences here and they want to start something, they can go to the website of MSDE, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and Women and Child Development and Rural Development. There you will find a lot of schemes where you can apply, and if you qualify, you will be getting funding.
Wow, now I'm sure everybody will understand why I was saying that Shipra ma'am is so dynamic that you can go on and hear her wonderful experiences, and it's all coming from the heart because she has earned it, she has learned it over a period of time. So now I open it for the participants. Anybody would like to ask any questions? You're most welcome. Anyone has any question, you can raise your hand or ask. Go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. I have one question. How do you motivate your team, and especially they are females stuck in their homes? How do you motivate them?
See, how do I motivate my team? So one way is giving them a lot of freedom. So we have a very good incentive plans. So where you use this word, we are stuck at home. So why don't think that you are stuck at home? Plan your day in a way that you get time for your work, and especially during this COVID time, you can start working from your home. So motivation is something which is inherent. Some people are positive. So when they are having a bad time, I make them remember the good times and I show them the good work they have done, their past performances and everything. And then of course sessions like asking them to meet somebody who has been into worse situation than that, but had come up with a better, results. So अब जब भी बुरा वक्त पड़े तो अपने से ज्यादा मुश्किल वाली स्थिति में जो पर्सन है उसको आप देखिए, you will definitely get motivated. You have that feeling that if he can do it, why can't I do it? So this is what I tell my team. This is just a time, it will pass. Just go on, just go on. Because बैठे रहने से कुछ नहीं होगा. Time will go on.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Go ahead, Pulkit.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
It's such a delight to see you, and I think the first time I had seen you was at the startup competition and startup event in Jaipur that has happened with TIE and Startup Oasis earlier, where you had won actually.
Okay.
So, as Shinu ma'am was saying, absolutely, you're such a distinguished speaker today, because behind just says a little bit of what great things you have done. So I want to add to one thing that I wanted to ask was that how there are many skills such institutes that opened up, and they also shut down, like for nursing and few other things, and we found out that they were not able to sustain themselves. Compared to them, both in terms of ethics or practice as well as things, how do you say that you have done things differently, or what they could have done properly to run it?
So thanks a lot, Pulkit, for this kind words of appreciation. See, Pulkit, there is a very thumb rule. What Warren Buffett says, minimize your risk. You should not be dependent on one source of revenue, on one source or one type of a business. So what I do, like today, I have 120 centers across India, and we are providing 20 sectors different: agriculture, handicraft, beauty, wellness, healthcare, electronic, apparel, all the sectors. Now, out of this 120 centers, 40% are not performing. They are not taking admissions for various reasons. Out of these 20 sectors, 7 sectors are not performing. So what I am trying to say is, I just diversified as much as possible, maintaining the quality and the control. So this is this is the reason that we were able to sustain ourselves during the epidemic. And the most importantly, like I'm very fast to change. Like in the digital platform, my app, which is available on the Play Store right now, this is the 3rd version, and soon I'm coming up with the 4th version. So I don't mind removing all my work and saying that this was wrong, let's restart. So there have been 4 or 5 restarts in my business or in my career, and I've never regretted that. You should not cling to your failures that no, मैंने इतना खर्चा करके ये ऐप बनाया है 3-4 करोड़ खर्च करके, अब इसी को मार्केट में लॉन्च करना है. If you realize that there is a mistake, shut it off, do a new beginning. Adaptability and flexibility are the only thing which help you to sustain during the bad times.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That actually does what I wanted to hear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Pulkit. Next question. Anyone having any more questions? See, it's not easy to get her on board, and
Nothing like that.
So take this opportunity and hear from her. Anyone, any more questions? I actually wanted to had a kind of a smash up when I thought Pooja will be on board. She's also another edupreneur, and she's been into parenting and early childhood, and she's been running a wonderful school based out of Calcutta. but unfortunately due to the casualty, she could not join us today. So I thought I'm going to connect, this higher education and, early childhood education and how these two people are, doing in their own field, but somehow we could not have her today. But it was really wonderful hearing you, Shipra ma'am, today. Any last words for these budding entrepreneurs that they should think of and do in this COVID times?
Okay,
And
so there are two words which all the entrepreneurs, in fact, every human being does not like to hear. One is fail. So I'm giving you a new definition for fail. Fail is first attempt in learning. FAIL. Fail. And the second bad word is no. So NO, no is next opportunity. So since you cannot change the situation, you cannot change the reaction of the people towards you, all you have to change is your perception. So next time your teacher says or your business partner says that this project has failed, immediately recall that this is the first attempt in learning. And when somebody says, no, I don't want to work with you, think that this is the, let's go to the next opportunity. This is not the opportunity. So today, with the closing remark, I am giving you two new definitions, no and fail. The most dreadful words, but with a new positive impact.
No, I think that's quite interesting way of looking at it. I never thought we have looked at it, and I always used to say yes, fail is like false evidence which appears real. But this is very, very nice that the way you talked about fail and no. I think all of us need to understand this and imbibe in our own life in terms of how we take the word failure and how we take the word no into our life. Well, thank you so much, Shipra ma'am. This was quite inspiring and motivating. Ma'am, you want to say something? I can see Dr. Madhu on the screen. Do you want to say something? Ma'am, would you like to come in? No, I think. All right. So thank you so much. I mean, let's meet sometime when we are back in campus, live, face to face. But it was good having you after a long time and hearing about your wonderful journey. All thanks to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Shipra ma'am. Thank you, Shinu ma'am. It's a delight to have.
Good night.
Thank you, Shipra ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.